Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back here to Tournament Central as we continue to bring you coverage of the 2023 PDGA Professional Disc Golf World Championships presented by L.L.Bean. Of course, we're out at Smuggler's Notch in Jeffersonville, Vermont, the site of the 2018 Worlds and home of the annual Green Mountain Championship, and we are entering day 4 for the MPO competition as we wrapped up FPO earlier this morning. I am Dust Murray, and once again joining me is none other than the disc golf guy himself, Terry Miller. Terry, first off, how are you feeling out there today, man? It seems like so far it's been pretty solid conditions, maybe some gust here and there, but how's it looking for things as the MPO take the course?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Yes, it is the 4th day of the World Championships. I don't know how I could possibly be more excited. The crowd out here is electric. There's people getting food, purchasing discs, watching golf on various holes, watching the board out in the parking lot. It's absolutely awesome out here. The environment, the atmosphere, you couldn't ask for any more out here at Smuggler's Notch. And to top it all off, it's what we like to refer to as moving day. And some players are going to need to make their moves today.
I think the great thing is that there's a lot of players who could do it. I mean, we have probably at least 15 players that are still theoretically in the hunt to win this thing. I mean, you can look, the separation is not that much. You know, everyone in the top 10 is within 5 strokes of the lead, so definitely could see some big things happening today on moving day. It's also cut day, so that's something else to kind of think about going forward. Now, I'll kind of kick off our story by talking about our current leader, Cole Radalin. Of course, he's made some noise this year winning Ledgestone as well as being a podium finisher at Waco, the OTB Open, to Preserve, and D-Glow. So he is peaking at just the right time. You know, as regards to Fox Run goes, he shot 8 under par during the second round on this course. And yesterday we saw him play very well to put him at 26 under par and 1 stroke in the lead. Terry, I guess I pose this question to you. I mean, it seems like Cole's had a pretty balanced game so far throughout this tournament. You know, he's putting up similar scores on both courses, and we kind of saw the same thing at Ledgestone, which has a similar system to Smuggler's Notch, in my opinion. So what are your thoughts on Radalin's chances on maintaining this lead as we, you know, head into the back half of this tournament?
Cole certainly is poised, as we saw him take down that big win at Ledgestone just a few weeks ago. And then he also told us a few days ago that he exceeded his goals for what he was hoping to do on each of the courses. He played at least 1 stroke better on his course, on his round over there at Brewster, and then 1 stroke better when he played the Fox course. So if he can continue to do that, or maybe even improve, it looks like he's going to be pretty happy with things. Another note as to what's going on here is the last time in the last 10 years we had a world champion that won it but didn't shoot the hot round at any point was Greg Barsby. That was right here in 2018. At no point did Greg Barsby have a hot round. Cole's not having the hottest rounds. He's just had these consistent, solid rounds that have pushed him through these first 3. So I think that's great to be said. And then when I look back at his round at Fox here 2 days ago, he had that 8 under, which was very impressive, but he stalled out on the last 4 holes. That means he has opportunities in those last 4 holes to pick up some strokes and to close out even stronger. I compare that to a competitor of his on the card where Chris Dickerson got 3 out of the last 4. That was a 3-stroke difference right there between the 2 of them. So Cole Radalin has some opportunity there to close out stronger, and he's going to be doing it both today and tomorrow as we close out this tournament.
Yeah, it seems like double digits is starting to become the pace that is required from the MPO field out here at Fox Run, just based on what we saw during round 2 and kind of some of the scores that are coming in early today. Of course, he did get to catch up with Cole Radalin yesterday to kind of get his thoughts as we get prepared for round number 4.
Just felt like things were going my way. I also found a lot of confidence on the putting green, which is really important because I have not been feeling that this week. So it felt really good to hit some putts today, and then the drives just found the fairways really well. Even when I got off the fairway, it felt like I kind of had a recovery line right there in front of me. There's a couple shots where I definitely had to make something happen, but for the most part, I'm very happy with keeping it in the fairways and knocking down my opportunities. So I've been preparing for my whole life. You know, 2 more rounds to go, and whatever happens, happens. I'm just so... Again, I'm thankful to be where I am, and my game feels really good. So if I can keep that rolling, then that'd be incredible. But no expectations moving forward, and yeah, hope for the best.
And so those were some words from Cole Redalin as he sits one stroke in the lead. Now, Terry, did want to just quickly pivot to some discussion about some of the early scores that we're seeing come in from the course before we start talking about the rest of our leaders. Definitely seeing a couple of guys out there already putting out some double digits. Special shout out to AJ Carey, who was at 12 under, including getting an ace, I believe it was, on hole 17. So that's got to feel pretty good for him, I imagine. But what else are you kind of seeing come out from the course so far, Terry?
I believe he finished with a 10 under when it was all said and done. Him and Silas Schultz, he said they were just vibing, playing really well together, just kind of walking themselves through the course. I was watching the scores just before we went live to see that he was having such an incredible round. He did finish with a par on the final hole, but Barsby, last time I looked, had moved up 57 spots, something in that neighborhood, as he's giving me the fist bump here. So doing some work out there, Greg Barsby, fighting back today. Excited to see what he can do out here at the Fox Run course. Greg, any words you got to throw at me for tomorrow?
Go low.
Go low. That doesn't get any better than that. The 2018 World Champ says go low, and we like that game plan.
Indeed we do. Also shout out to Ezra Aderholt. He is 9 down through 12 so far, jumping up 40 spots in the 22nd place, so he's trying to make a move. But let's get back to some of our leaders heading into today's round, and that's going to be Chris Dickerson. Of course, he is fresh off of a third place finish at D-Glow, had some top 10 finishes at the European Open in Ledgestone recently. He's also a guy who has had a lot of success on this property in the past. He was our runner-up for the Green Mountain Championship here at Smuggler's Notch in 2022. He was our champion in 2021. He made a big moves at the Fox Run course by shooting the hot round at 12 under par, and that was despite 2 bogeys. He didn't even find his first par until hole 14. It moved him up 66 spots into third place, and then yesterday he was able to shoot 8 under par as he was hot with the putter early, and despite cooling off a bit of touch at the end, he still found himself at 25 under par and in solo second place. We got to catch up with him after his round yesterday, so let's take a look at what he had to say.
We're through 3 rounds here at the Worlds. 1 stroke off the lead. You maintained today. How'd you feel about your round?
Good about the beginning, not so great about the end. Yeah, I can relax because, we're not in that pressure situation right now. It's not 2 holes to go, whatever the score is. It's 2 rounds to go. So we've got 36 holes left.
A man of few words, but a man that can deliver many strokes. That is going to be Chris Dickerson again, shooting negative 25 so far across 3 rounds, Terry. Again, he was one of those guys who set the pace at Fox Run on day 2 at 12 under par, and he did so in kind of a different fashion than a lot of the rest. I mean, he did have some early mistakes with some early OBs, but was still able to put up 14 birdies. And again, he only parred 2 holes. So what are your expectations for Dickerson as we head into Fox Run for these next couple of days?
Well, one of the favorite responses I've heard this week is talking to him after that round. And I said, yeah, it took you till hole 14. He's like, oh, okay. Like, it just doesn't faze him. There's not a lot that does faze Chris Dickerson. As you said, not necessarily a lot of words. When we do talk to him in interviews, he's very straightforward and to the point. And there's not a lot that he thinks about on the course because he knows there's so much golf to be played. And he just alluded to that a moment ago, knowing we're not in the high-pressure situations yet. That's going to be obviously in these last 36 holes. And I want to bring up yet again how well he closed out here. He ended up getting 3 out of 4 birdies, and you compare and contrast that to what Redalin did, where he stalled out during the last 4 holes. That's something that has to provide maybe a little bit of confidence as he's trying to close out. And Dickerson, who's won on this course before, and having it come all the way down to the final hole with Ricky Wysocki last year on 18, he knows what it takes. He's going to have to battle through, and I'm excited to see how he's going to be able to close out today's round, because we know that's just 24 hours short of crowning our world champion the next day.
Yeah, Dickerson certainly one of those guys that knows how to win a major as well. Won the Champions Cup last year and definitely knows what it takes to, deliver in the spotlight. Now, he do, after Dickerson, have what I believe is a 3-way tie for third. The first member of that being Anthony Barella. He came into Worlds ranked 7th in our tour standings, had multiple second-place finishes early in the year at Texas State and the Music City Open, had some recent top 10 finishes at D-Glow, the European Open, the Preserve, and Des Moines. a beautiful thrower of the disc, and a guy who's usually hot with the putter early in tournaments, and that's the case as well again now. I believe he's ranked in the top 10 for C1X, and he's not too far off from Circle 2. Of course, whenever he played Fox Run on day 2, he was on pace to have a really hot round, but kind of cooled off at the end. I want to say he ultimately wound up shooting 7 under par. Yesterday, though, he shot himself another 7 under par. And that puts him at 24 under, just 2 strokes off the lead, and we got to catch up with him after his round yesterday.
I'm excited. I knew it was going to be a battle at Brewster. I'm way more confident with the Fox Run course, so just got to stay close and then attack Fox Run tomorrow.
Yeah, two shots at Fox Run for the final days. What's your strategy out there?
I made some mistakes late at Fox yesterday, so just try to clean up that back 9, and then I feel like I can do pretty well on the front 9 usually, so yeah.
Yeah, there you hear it from AB himself. You know, he wants to clean up some mistakes he made at Fox Run. Again, putting definitely hasn't been the problem. He is 94% from C1X. He's doing pretty well from Circle 2. I think the big thing for him, Terry, was just some late OB throws he had on the back 9, which cost him some strokes. Again, he was on pace to shoot potentially the hot round of the day. He was 6 down through 7 to kick off Fox Run, but just really kind of struggled down the stretch. I mean, what are you kind of thinking about AB as we head to a course that he says he's more comfortable playing?
Not really a surprise to have AB say that he loves the course that has a little more length to it, and that's still going to require some accuracy. A lot of people will think Fox Run feels wide open. It's not. You still have plenty of OB that you have to contend with. Obviously, all the white stakes, the white paint, and so on that will somewhat harness you to some degree. AB loves to throw the big shots, though, and we'll see how he can handle it on the Fox Run course. I think you just summarized it perfectly in the sense that his start was phenomenal. He was 6 for 7, and you're sitting there thinking, wow, what is he going to miss, or what kind of double-digit score can you come in with? So for him to only finish at a 7 under after a 6 for 7 start has to feel disappointing. He's through the Brewster Ridge course, so it'll be exciting to see what he can do when he heads out to the Fox Run Meadows course. It is fair to say that his biggest struggle when he's fallen short at events has been the putter. Not been the problem this week at all. If he can keep that rolling, he's obviously going to be in contention. You can't argue with 94% C1X putting.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that has come up alongside of Cole Redon, alongside of Gannonburr, alongside of Isaac Robinson, that next generation of talent. And in each of those cases, we have always just kind of said it's not a matter of, you know, if they're going to win, it's a matter of when. All those other names that I have mentioned have been able to find that W at some point or another, or in someone like Aiden Burr's case, he's done it multiple times this year. But AB is still kind of that one that, you know, hasn't quite found it yet, but he's only 2 strokes off the lead today. Terry, I guess the question I'm going to pose to you, and I mean, I know this is probably a difficult one, so I hate to put you on the spot, but what is it going to take for that switch to flip for AB to get that win that the others have gotten that he has yet to receive?
I think it's going to need to be the flawless putting or near perfect putting. There's been too many times in the career that I've seen from Anthony Barela, sometimes at bigger events and sometimes even at smaller events, he has missed a putt and then the comebacker doesn't fall in. And next thing you know, he's turned a birdie look into a bogey. Unfortunately, I don't need to remind him of that happening in his career. That has been the number one challenge for him. So if he can just keep the putter clean and find the bottom of the basket on that first attempt, or worst case scenario, that tap in then for what would ultimately be a par more often than not, that's what's going to be the difference, because it's not his driving. It's not the distance. It's not even the accuracy on the driving. None of those are of concern. It simply comes down to the putting for Anthony Barela.
That's a fair point to make. And joining him in third place, by the way, is going to be Isaac Robinson. Of course, he won our first major of the year at Champions Cup. He currently sits second in our tour standings. Outside of his title at the major, he's also found some podium finishes at Idlewild, Des Moines, the OTB Open, and Jonesboro. So I guess what I'm getting at with that is that he has proven that he can win in multiple different styles of golf. It's not just the woods. It's not just shot shaping. He's also got tons of power, and of course, he's a powerful putter. We did see him shoot a 6 down at Fox Run. That was 6 strokes less than the hot score that we've seen so far at that course. Meanwhile, he shot 9 under both rounds at Brewster. But I think the two things that I kind of want to pose to you, Terry, is that, well, one, he hasn't had the hot score at Fox Run in his first attempt, and that's going to have to change as he's going to be playing 2 rounds there to finish off this tournament. And 2, it feels like his Circle 2 putting hasn't been quite as deadly as we're used to. What are your thoughts on Isaac, as we head into these final 2 rounds?
As you said, Isaac's got the tools and the resources and all the capabilities to go out and perform well on both of these courses. And one thing that he seems to lean into, or that has brought him to that success, is some conversions from Circle 2. And he's just been a little stagnant, a little stale. And maybe that's all part of a conversation where we set him on another bar, we put him up on a pedestal on another level, and we kind of grow these expectations of the Circle 2 putting. But when you do it time and time again, and then one weekend you're not nearly as sharp with it, and I feel as if that's maybe the reason that's kept him back from some of these hot scores. He mentioned it just yesterday, I believe. He said he was going to go out to the putting green and try and figure some things out because his putter wasn't quite as sharp. And I don't know if there's anything more fun than watching Isaac Robinson throw putts from Circle 2 that just looks so effortless. It looks like he's just literally playing catch with the basket when he just kind of tosses them over toward the pin. The problem is the basket's going to need more catches in these last 2 rounds than what it's been doing the last few days. So we'll see if he can clean that up.
You will indeed. And actually, you got to catch up with him after his round yesterday to talk about the Circle 2 putting as well as a couple of other topics. So let's see what he had to say.
I'm going to clean up some putts. I'm actually going to hit the putting green after this and just try to get the Circle 2 putts landed. They've been off. Other than that, my driving feels great, so hopefully it's not too windy tomorrow on Fox.
You've already got a major championship in the bag this year. What does that bring to your game as you're playing for this world title?
It brings a lot of confidence. It brings, memories and, the confidence that I have the ability to take one down. So I'm going to be trying to remember that and take this one down too.
And as we head into day 4, we had something special go down at Brewster yesterday from Lauri Lehtinen, who set a new course record. We'll hear from him and talk about it after the break.
Hello, we're Kenna. We're a Dutch growing company. We love plants and we want to tell you some cool things about them. Just like humans, plants can communicate. They can sense when another plant is close. Plants look out for each other too. They warn neighbors about nearby threats by secreting substances. And studies have shown that plants love a good tune. We love and understand plants. Let our passion excite you too.
Whether I'm on the course or behind the camera, there's one thing driving me forward: the shot. The shot no one else thinks about or would even dare to try. The shot that people will remember, that tells a story. For me, that's what disc golf is all about. Introducing the time-lapse, the first 12-speed featuring gyro overmold technology, and the first disc in the Simon line. Coming soon.
We're here with Lauri Lehtinen. Lauri off the course with a 13 under. It's the hot round of the tournament. It is tied for the course record. Tell us some thoughts about that round.
Oh, so much was going on there. I played probably the best I've ever been, and on top of that, I was super lucky also. I got a couple insane kicks that I shouldn't have gotten, but all in all, very good round.
Would you say that so far this is the best round of your career?
It's close. My best rating round is 10.91. I don't think this is going to go over that, but one of the best for sure.
Does this change the way you're going to play the rest of the tournament?
Not really. I have no idea what I'm going to be, what spot I'm at the moment, but probably not same play tomorrow, and I'm not going to play on that course anymore, so nothing really changes.
When did you know you were having a special round?
Quite early. I think it was. I might be wrong, but I think I was 7 through 8 or something like that. I think on that point, and after that it got pretty nervous on me, and even the short putts on the back nine were quite bad. But luckily I was able to make all of them.
Well, Lauri, quite a show today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Those were the words of Finnish player Lauri Lehtinen, someone we haven't really seen on tour this year. He's been very successful in Europe this season, winning multiple events on the European Pro Tour, consistently placing in the top 5 when he hasn't won. He placed outside the top 5 just barely at the European Open. That would be like the one event this year that people would have seen him at. He was also a player that did tour some last year on the Disc Golf Pro Tour and had a few finishes in the top 15. Even had a 3rd place finish at the Music City Open and 5th at Masters Cup. So he's a guy that's done well when he has been here. It's just not been very often. And right now he sits in solo 6th place. He's only 3 strokes off the lead. And a lot of that is thanks to this record-breaking round he had at Brewster Ridge yesterday. I know that 13 under has been the official mark for the course record for Brewster Ridge, but with us playing a new layout this year, I think you kind of have to give him the nod as the new overall record holder at 13 under par. Can you kind of just talk to me a little bit about Lauri Lehtinen as a player and kind of what you've seen so far from him this tournament?
Yeah, it's been so great to see him bust out that round yesterday. When you talk about having a career high rated day, no better place to do that than the World Championships. And we can argue all day long about course records and baskets and pins and such that move. No matter how you cut it, though, he came in with the single best score of 13 under yesterday. He said that he feels as if, as I'm hearing some excitement behind me here at Brewster Ridge, he said that that was the highest rated round that he's had. That he's had a 1091 in any Elite Series or Major. 1089, which is what yesterday's round was the highest he's had at one of the biggest events. So again, a great time for it. Awesome to see and hear as the excitement continues out here as we're right behind Brewster's action taking place. Lauri, looking forward to seeing what he can do throughout the rest of the day, though. Sorry, I got all rattled out here, guys.
It's all good, man. I mean, we've had some aces all over the place throughout this world, honestly, as well as some big throw-ins. So I'm not surprised to hear that there's probably another one going on somewhere behind you. I'm sure we'll hear about a little bit later. But after speaking about Lauri Lehtinen, let's get back to kind of our final member of that tie for 3rd position, just 2 strokes off the lead, and that's going to be James Proctor. Now, this is a guy who finally was able to have the opportunity to fully tour this year after only doing partial tours in the past. He's currently ranked 8th in the Pro Tour standings. He's had top 10 finishes at Waco, Texas States, and multiple other events. And he was also a guy who placed in the top 5 at the Portland Open and the Preserve. We saw him shoot 10 under at Brewster to kick off his tournament, putting himself, right up there in the top 10. His first round at Fox Run, he only shot 5 under par to kind of hang around the top 10, but not really make much movement. But yesterday, he was able to have a 9 under par round at Brewster to join that tie for 3rd at 24 under par. And the big thing for him, as has been the case all season, Terry, is just how darn good he has been putting. He is, I believe, in the top 3 for the season for C1X putting, and he's at 90% for this tournament. He's also 50% from Circle 2 so far this event. So definitely getting it done on the green, Terry. Kind of what are your thoughts on him going into Fox Run, a course that, it has given him some issues so far?
I think that's the number one goal right now for James Proctor, is to figure out Fox Run. He now has 36 holes to play over there as opposed to being done at Brewster. He shot 19 under at Brewster for the first 2 rounds and only that 5 under in the single go over at Fox Run. So we know that he can play in the woods. That has been made very evident over these first 3 rounds. Now he has to get it done at Fox. I was looking at his numbers to see he ultimately had 4 out of bounds strokes over there at Fox Run during the first time he played it 2 days ago. So he needs to start by cleaning those up, and then he needs to do what he does so well, which is make C1X putts and then convert a couple from C2. But it starts with remaining in bounds. That is the number one goal. Every player will almost always lead with, when you say, what's the plan at Fox Run, they'll always lead with the statement, well, first I got to keep it in bounds, and then they'll go on to suggest what they need to do after that. But staying in bounds, obviously paramount out here on that course.
Yeah, that's kind of the critical step one, I guess you could say, as far as having success at Fox Run goes. And I want to say Proctor was kind of discussing, just issues with distillation and wind reads was kind of his big issue at Fox Run when he kind of talked about it post-round. But we did get to catch with him again yesterday after his performance at Brewster Ridge. So let's see what he had to say.
I'm happy with the 9. I got off to a hot start. Isaac and I both, I think we were 6 through 6. So I wanted to keep the momentum rolling a little bit more than I did. I got kind of steady in the middle. The one bogey was pretty lame, missed a putt after that, but kept it together, finished with some birdies, and I'm happy with it. Just trying to execute off the tee pad. I had a couple bad wind reads yesterday and missed a couple putts, and so, I'm just trying to keep it clean, keep it simple. I definitely like Brewster. I like that course. I feel comfortable on it, and Fox has given me some trouble in the past. So, just try to stay in it. Play kind of as simple and boring as I can.
Yep, and those were some words from James Proctor, who sits at 24 under par alongside Isaac Robinson and Anthony Barella in that tie for third, just 2 strokes off the lead. Now, another player that we kind of want to talk about is going to be Gannon Buhr. The reason for that is because he's been kind of hanging around all tournament. He's currently tied for 7th at 22 under par, just 4 strokes off the lead, but this is the winningest player, I guess you could say, of the year. He is a guy who already has 5 wins this season. He has 3 elite wins and 2 silver wins, as well as 3 additional podium finishes on top of that. He's currently ranked 4th in the world on UDisc, and he's 3rd in our standings for the Disc Golf Pro Tour. He's a guy that when he gets hot early in a tournament, he is typically able to win it or at least place on the podium, and he's sort of been able to do that so far at Worlds. He shot 7 under par the first day. That put him 5 strokes off the lead, so it kept him very much in the mix. Then he was able to shoot a really good round at Fox Run day 2, shot 10 under par that day to put himself at 17 under overall. That was just 1 stroke off the lead. And then day 3, he started kind of cool, but managed to shoot 5 under par, putting him again at that 22 under mark and in 7th position, just 4 strokes off the lead. So that's another player to keep an eye on as we get into our final round. With that said, we are going to bid Terry Miller adieu because he's got to go off to the course, and he'll, of course, be able to give his insights once we get to the action. But we're going to take one more break. When we come back, we'll bring it over to the commentary booth to bring you day 4 of MPO action out at the 2023 PDGA Disc Golf World Championships.
We're ready when you are. Come, discover Vermont.
When you first sign up for a PDGA membership, you're given a PDGA number. Your PDGA number is a stamp for when you got involved in the sport. It's a badge of pride for players and a part of your disc golf identity. Get your number today. Visit pdga.com/join.
This is Latitude 64. The smallest of grains handled with the greatest passion. Always trying to improve, always trying to be better. Out of curiosity, excitement, thrill. For the player and the sport. Because we want to make disc golf awesome for you.
Nice Valley, Montana, with my family. When we were bored, my parents would just be like, go outside. That's where memories are made. It's such a part of childhood that I feel like is being lost today, and I have desperately tried to instill that into my kids.